Coming to you from the Radio for One studios in Franklin, Michigan. Welcome to the Detroit Cast.
Big fan. Big fan.
A show not just free of charge, but free of FCC regulations.
Thank you for your support of the Detroit Cast.
Oh, there it is.
And without further delay, it's showtime. Please welcome the Detroit Cast. Here are your hosts, Mike and Jay.
What do?
I ain't do shit. Good day, all. Welcome to the Detroit Cast. With Mike and Jay, of course. Big E is here. How are you, pal?
I am just fine, thank you.
Doing all right today?
Yeah, how are you?
I'm good. I'm excited. I just learned it's Sweet's birthday.
It's Sweet Pie's 8th birthday.
Look at it. Poops.
Happy birthday, Sweet Pie, even though
Happy
you shouldn't
birthday.
be listening to this.
Yeah, we'll let her listen to the first couple minutes. Happy birthday, Sweet Pie. She's probably not excited at all for...
Oh, my
for
God. This has been like, I don't know, a 62-day lead-up or
that.
something.
The countdown.
Dad, there's only 62 days till my birthday.
Did you try to squash that a little bit?
Of course.
Because you can just set up for disappointment.
Squash a child's joy every chance you get.
Yeah, that's what I would do. You know?
Yeah, no, it's the build-up is big, and you hope that we can deliver today.
Boy, oh boy. Good luck with that. I mean, I don't know how you deliver.
I'm glad Gabrielle is in my life. I would be the worst single parent, dude. Well,
consider who you're sitting in a room with.
I think I can think of two
I'd be
that
the
would
third
worse.
worst single parent on the planet. Seriously, she covers so much of the little things. Like today, she's like, "Yeah, here. This bag needs to go to Sweet Pie's classroom today. This is all her birthday treats." I'm like, "Oh,
Excellent.
that's a great idea. Yeah, give them birthday treats. Okay." And I look, and there's little Rice Krispie treats individually cut with like a little pumpkin on the top, and then a spider ring stuck in.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just
That's a
a
lot.
good mom.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
She's a good woman. Is that what you're saying, Jay?
She's a good woman.
Yeah, I don't know. I would be a lousy dad. It just wouldn't dawn on me. Like, that shit wouldn't cross my mind.
That's the thing, or if it does, it's way late, you know?
Yeah.
Like, oh, shit, you know, like putting her to bed last night. So are you going to do the balloons and the streamers on my door like you did last year? I'm like, we'll have to see. And I'm just like dead tired. You want to go to bed. You're like, I got to do it now.
Yeah, she needs the balloons and
Yeah.
streamers. Yeah, I would. I don't know what I'd do, man. I know I'd be a lousy parent. Like, Beth asked me to come over yesterday and just let the dog out. She's got some training shit, nurse training thing that she's going through all week. And so she can't come home at lunch and let the dogs out. So I'm like, yeah, I got it. She's like, now, it's
dogs
very
are awesome.
important.
Yeah. Dogs are great.
She's like, it's important, though. The battery is shoddy on her collar that keeps her in the yard.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, but those things are just like training measures. They learn like where their boundaries are. She's like, yeah, you would think, but no. Izzy tests it and knows,
Of course.
and can
Yeah.
figure
Of
out.
course Izzy does.
She just, in Izzy's defense, she just wants to hunt, man. She just wants
Izzy
to get
is
out
not
there
a
and
good
fucking
girl.
run. And so she's like, you know, take her out on a leash or use the shot collar because she can't be trusted. You know, she'll just take off and run into the school and the yard and play with the kids and stuff. So I'm like, yeah, no problem. I get over there, open the door immediately, just let the dog out. Of course, she goes right into the neighbor's yard. I'm like, oh, fuck. God damn it.
Yeah, see,
It's given
even-
strict instructions, very specific. And I was like, yeah. So I don't know. I have a feeling I'd be a lousy dad, but well, happy birthday to her.
Yeah, happy birthday, Sweet Pie.
Yeah.
I think we've got a lunch and a dinner planned for little Sweet Pie.
Wow.
It's a big day.
I'd ask you what you got her, but I have a feeling
We got her. Yeah.
it's a surprise. You don't want to blow the surprise.
Exactly.
In case
Listening
if she's listening at school this morning,
On YouTube.
I know they're frequent viewers
Yeah, her
in the
school.
classroom.
Yeah, the classroom often chimes into the Detroit Cast every morning.
Whenever the teacher's extremely hungover, they'll just throw our show on YouTube.
It's educational.
Third graders will all watch. It's great. So yeah, I won't put you on the spot as to what you got her. Maybe you can fill us in.
I will. I'll let you know tomorrow after she opens them.
Yes, I wish I would have known this was coming up for the last 62 days. I would have actually gotten her something.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course I would.
I would have made a bracelet if I had known.
Yeah, I do have those big. Does she like those big suckers? I think I have one of those left. Can I give her that?
Sure.
Say it's happy birthday
Yeah.
for me.
She'd appreciate that.
Oh, I will do that. Remind me. 'Cause
I will.
I'll forget if you
Okay.
don't. So remind me. Anyway, well, it looks like the Trump run at president is officially over. I can't say I'm terribly shocked by any of the reports that have come out in the last 24 hours.
Yes, amazing timing, isn't it? That these things
yeah.
would come out now and.
There's no chance. I mean, I'm thinking of like, okay, with 27 days to go before the election, this stuff all drops now. I find that really hard to believe that there's not some sort of.
He had such a narrow avenue to a win as it was.
Yeah.
I can't imagine him pulling something out now,
This-
getting over this.
Yeah, kind of unsurvivable. Who knows? I suppose anything's possible, but I just don't see it. Whenever you see the map, they said if just men were voting, like if this is the good old days when only men were allowed to vote, he'd win in a landslide.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. He'd lose like 3 states.
Yeah.
But if only women voted, she'd win by an even bigger margin. I mean, that's how bad he's doing with
Yeah.
women. Like, women are what was key, and you just can't have reports coming out that you're just like, yes, I just grabbed them by the pussy. Like,
He's a bit repulsive.
he is. The funny thing is, he's always been repulsive.
I know.
Though. That's
I know.
what's so funny about
Well, that's
this.
what's such bullshit about this is that, CNN and everybody else gave him free advertising throughout the primary because they thought it was hilarious to see this guy womping
This
on the
clown.
Republicans.
Yes.
And so they built him to this thing, got him through the primary.
$2 billion, did they say, in free advertising
Yeah.
or something like that?
Got him through the primary, immediately stopped all of that coverage,
Mm-hmm.
and then allowed this whole thing to be set up in the way that it was.
Yeah, it does. It does seem rather remarkable, and I'm just not surprised at any of these reports. I would be shocked if this stuff wasn't true. To be honest with you.
Yeah, we talked about this early on. Like, why isn't there more coming out about him being a womanizer? He is, isn't he? And we're
mean,
like,
that's-
I don't know. I always assumed he was, but maybe not.
He gave off that vibe forever.
Yeah.
Like that was his thing. Like it's very cool to Donald Trump to be known as like extreme billionaire. Who is worth $3 billion and lies to say it's $7 billion? Like, like $3 billion's not good enough.
Yeah.
It needs to be bigger, grander. The gold trim on all his seats, like it's all gaudy, it's all obnoxious. And he's every time you've seen him interviewed, like years ago, there's always a hint of like, looking at chicks and grading him on a scale of 1 to 10. Like that's just who he is.
Dirty old man.
Yeah. So anyway, it shouldn't shock anybody. The New York Times, who is absolutely despised by Donald Trump and who despises Donald Trump in turn, they have found a couple chicks to come out and say that, yeah, he's a pig to me too. He did this, he did that. He's denying it, of course.
The release of all this shit has been so coordinated, it would seem.
Yeah.
Hate to sound so cynical there, but, they wait till just the right time to release the tape. And then
Yeah, no chance in hell they didn't have any of this
And then they get
beforehand.
him on record at the debate, as we pointed out, dangerously saying never did it. Well, guess what the next thing is? You're going to have a bunch of chicks who say he did,
Right.
and here they come.
What's so infuriating is like the narratives that you see driven on both sides, and the truth gets lost somewhere in the middle of all of it. But I saw these debates, and it's just an ass whooping going on right now. Like these are facts. These stories are facts in whether it's CNN or MSNBC, whatever you're watching. These are just factual things now. These women are to be believed, and he's a monster. And then you get one Trump supporter, 18 people who are pro-Clinton, and they just pound the fuck out of him. And the moderator, whose job is not to, whatever. But that guy is
Yeah, what
just
is the job
peppering-
anymore?
I don't know what
Yeah.
it is. I don't know what their
That's
job
what's
is
so
anymore.
troubling, is it's not just reporting facts anymore.
And meanwhile, this WikiLeaks stuff is going on, and nobody gives a
Buried.
shit about that. It's like, oh, wow, did he grope someone on a plane 35 years ago? Dominating the news coverage. And, I guess that's just the way it goes now. But it's infuriating to say, the argument that I'm seeing these moderators and talking heads discuss is how, Trump was really attacking Bill Clinton on his women issues, blah, 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 blah. And then they don't even discuss why those attacks were being made. It's, he's not running against Bill Clinton. This is sexism at its finest. Attack Bill Clinton. Well, I'll have you know, he's running against his wife, Hillary Clinton. And, and it's like, well, that's not why he was attacking that story.
Yeah, what bothers me so much is we're all just being made suckers in the whole thing.
Yeah.
Like you could just see this was so textbook the way this was all built up, and he was built up and allowed to succeed as the Republican, and then here it comes, you know, just as you'd expect it would, and the big machine takes over and knocks it down,
Yeah.
and
Well,
Hillary wins.
the chicks that came out yesterday, Jessica Leeds, apparently at 74 years old, was sitting in her home just watching the debates. And when Anderson Cooper pressed Donald Trump, like you mentioned a second ago, about, you know, did you ever inappropriately grab pussies or whatever, he's like, no, I did not. That was the moment she went, my story needs to be told.
Yeah.
It's like, really? Of all the
You
shit over
sat
the
for
last
the entire
over 18 months. 18 months. People have been essentially begging for someone to
Yeah.
come forward with some sort of story that can knock this guy down. That's the moment. No, I did not.
Yeah,
Really?
nobody
27?
jumped on this guy in the early months, you know, when
Republicans would have had a chance to squash this dude.
They let him get the nomination. And
Yeah.
then-
So she was like, I wanted to punch the screen. And I don't know about this, man. She's, you know, what, maybe it happened, maybe it didn't, but I have a feeling there's more to this story than we're being told. So according to the New York Times and this woman, Jessica Leeds, it was 3 decades ago. She was a traveling businesswoman at a paper company. She sat beside Trump in first class on a flight to New York. They'd never met before. After about 45 minutes after takeoff, Trump lifts the armrest and begins to touch her. He grabbed her breasts. He tried to put his hand up her skirt. He was like an octopus. His hands were everywhere. She fled to the back of the plane. It was an assault. Trump claims the word, you know, when he claimed that words never turned into actions, unlike with Bill Clinton. This infuriated her. Another woman, Rachel Crooks, in Ohio. She was a 22-year-old receptionist at a real estate investment company in Trump Tower. He came in outside the elevator one morning in 2005, and so she introduces herself, you know, knowing we're in Trump Tower. Here's Donald Trump. They shake hands, but he wouldn't let go. Instead, he just begins to kiss her cheek, and then he kissed me on the mouth. It didn't feel like an accident. It felt like a violation. It was so inappropriate. She returned to her desk. She was really worked up about it, blah, 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 blah. It goes on and on and on. The one on the plane is the one that I'm like,
who knows? I don't have any reason to think it's not true or true. Who the
Yeah.
hell knows? The guy's a piece of shit in
Yeah.
many ways.
it just, here's the thing. It seems odd that you'd be on, like, we've all been on a plane, first class or coach. Like, if some guy starts just like mad dogging a chick and groping her, going up her skirt, don't you think somebody would go, what's going on over there? This seems a little odd.
I've seen a million times though. Victims react differently. You know, some start screaming, some just, oh my
Freeze.
God, I can't
Sure.
believe this is going on.
I mean,
Never
other
report
people on
it.
the plane, you would think people go, oh, God, I remember that. Yeah, I was right there. I mean, it just seems odd that incident would take place. What is she doing there in the first place? Why, you know?
She works for Dunder Mifflin. She's headed to a business trip.
Sure. Actually, I think they said there was an extra seat in first class, so they put her there. And I don't know. It's, you know, my guess is it probably was more like they start talking and then they start making out a little bit, and Trump starts getting a little handsy, and then she's like, "Oh my God, I don't want this. What am
Maybe.
I doing? What am I doing?" And then
Buyer's
bolts.
remorse.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? Like you said, maybe it happened.
Well,
some other way,
I think the
but-
timing is just so suspect. Like, I'd love to know from these two ladies when they came forward and actually reported this to someone at, you know, within the Democratic organization or to the press, and what the response from the people that they're reporting it to was. Whether they were like, okay, cool, wait, just hold on, hold that thought.
Yeah.
Let's wait 2 months and see where this goes. We'll definitely run with your story, but just
Yeah.
hold it.
Yeah, I could see that for sure. I don't know. It sounds like she went to the New York Times. I don't know if they were soliciting people, but it wouldn't surprise me either way.
Yeah.
Either one of those
No,
things.
because you wait long enough what was the reaction on Friday when all the video hit? It was, put Mike Pence on the top of the ticket. Let's replace. Well, shit, we can't do that because ballots are already printed. We're too far down the line. This was all very contrived.
Yeah. There are 4 other women accusing him of touching them inappropriately as well. Obviously, the New York Times, we talked about the 2 bitches there. The Palm Beach Post quoted a Florida woman as saying Trump groped her 13 years ago at Mar-a-Lago. People Magazine staff writer said Wednesday that at Mar-a-Lago in 2005 he pushed her against a wall and forcing his tongue down her throat.
Well, there's all kinds of girls at pageants who are coming forward too,
Yeah.
saying that he in fact walked in there on purpose while they're in
Yeah.
a state of undress. And I think he talked to Howard Stern about that.
He did.
Oh yeah, because I'm the owner. You know, I go back to inspect things.
It's one of the
quote, unquote.
benefits of being the owner.
Yeah, and these young girls,
I think it was the Miss Teen USA too.
Oh my god.
like, yeah, he comes traipsing back there. Half of us are naked or at least topless.
Some state of undress. There are a bunch of girls that say never saw him. I never saw him back here, but he did say that on Howard Stern. I mean,
Yeah.
whether it's braggadocious, whether it really doesn't matter. The people that you need to support you are absolutely going to believe this 100%. And unfortunately for Donald Trump, there's very little in his past that you can point to. I know I'm seeing a lot of people scrambling to, well, he found Jesus in the last. It's like, no, dude, it's just not going to work.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
You know, who's the guy that owns or runs Liberty University, Falwell
Oh
Jr.?
yeah, right. No, I've seen a change in this man.
Oh, the time that I've known
Stop.
him, he has just been, and I get why Jerry Falwell Jr. has he for his agenda really doesn't want Hillary Clinton appointing Supreme Court judges. So it's in his very best interest to get some sort of right-wing agenda into the White House. It makes sense. But Donald Trump I just don't see any path for him with this stuff. Like you said, it's unfortunate that it comes out 30 days before the election. You know, anybody that knew him or knew about Donald Trump, this is not surprising. If people are surprised by this, I'm shocked by that because Donald Trump has been a very public figure.
No, and given the Clintons' MO of digging into people and destroying
How,
them.
yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
just
So planned.
crazy.
Yeah.
Just found it
Yeah,
today.
just came to light. How fortuitous. 3 weeks before.
Yep. I don't know what we do.
Bunch of bullshit, man. The whole fucking
whole-
system is a bunch of bullshit.
Who do you vote for? I'm serious. Like,
Trump.
Trump.
Really? You still vote
Yes,
for him?
yes.
I'm not voting
You
for
vote
Hillary.
for Trump, and the reason is because you know the system is so fucking rigged on both sides
Yep.
of the aisle, and he was the only guy that came in that was like, "Fuck it, this is a rigged system, and we're gonna fix it." And I honestly, these stories, the Bill Clinton stories never really bother me. I mean, obviously the rape ones, but like, look at that powerful guy getting a piece of ass. Look at him go. Like, I was just like, whatever. I just automatically assume most of those guys are. It's just like, okay, well, how is he going to do, like, how can he better the system the way it is? It feels very rigged for the powerful and elite. How can someone come into this mix? And unless you're a billionaire, I don't know how you do that. You don't. You either play by the rules that are set in place or you have a wrecking ball come in and kind of blow the whole thing up. And that was the appeal to Donald Trump. Of course I knew this shit was going
Yeah.
on behind. Of course.
Yeah, no, he was winning, and it was an attractive situation despite the fact that he was Donald Trump.
Yes.
It was just
Yes.
he was in this perfect storm of having the ability to put forth this agenda that was so amazingly different.
Some of
It's
the
too bad he's Donald Trump.
some of the just to show you the behind the scenes maneuvering that you kind of alluded to, some of the WikiLeaks stuff, and I'm not going through 5,000 pages of emails, but some of them were stuff like from the Clinton campaign. Well, this Donald Trump thing, like early on, is interesting. We're going to have to the narrative that they wanted to establish early on was that he's a bigot, he's a racist, he's a sexist. That's the message we're going to have to drive home to the American people.
That's how you beat him.
This is how we do it. This is going to be
Yeah.
our plan of attack. And so that's
And
what they've
just
done.
Drip, for a year.
18 months later, the fucking nuclear bomb to
Yeah.
end it all. Let's find some bitches who claim for whatever reason that he did something to them.
Well, and it's not to mention the WikiLeaks stuff showing that they want to blow up the Catholic Church. They want to do all sorts of
Yeah.
things like that. It's really troubling. It's
Yeah.
Dude,
it will
They
be
just think the Catholic Church is just Looney Tunes.
Yeah.
That's essentially what they think. They take it for granted, these fucking nut jobs over here, and
standing in front of their progressive agenda.
Mm-hmm. yep.
I just hope something positive could come out of this whole situation, and that, I don't know, some third party spins off or something, or some people's eyes are opened to the bullshit that is both sides establishment, Republican and Democrat, and just how we're all being duped. The media is in on it, absolutely.
Yeah.
You're absolutely lying to yourself if you think the media is not
Yeah.
in on this shit.
It's and I know we watch more of it than most, and it is so crystal clear when you watch it all day. You know,
It is a TV show, and it is slanted
yes,
one way or the other. And
Yep.
if you're watching Fox, it's slanted to the right.
yep,
Of course, everybody knows that.
yeah, yeah. It's too bad. I think you're absolutely right, though. I think going forward I think this will change the way elections are done going forward. I really do, and I think this might be the icebreaker for a third party to get in there, because there is a lot of people that are disgusted with both sides of the aisle. You know, this is not exclusive to Republicans or Democrats, and so there is definitely a window to get something else in here that won't be quite as obnoxious as a Donald Trump with as checkered of a past as Donald Trump, that can still come in with that message and drive that narrative, but is just a little cleaner on the edges.
Yeah.
You know, he's just too dirty of a dude. I think to really punch through. It makes it too easy for one side to attack him. That's
You need
all.
the funding for that, and you need a person who doesn't give a fuck. And those are the two things that Trump had that were really unique.
And interesting.
Yeah. Well, bring back the wigs, righty? There we go. Wigs with an H, or the bull moose. I'll
I was
take
trying
either
to
one.
think of some other ones the other day, but I forgot.
Hey, is it finally time to shed your Big E wannabe disgusting pig pen of a jalopy? You bet it is, and our friends at Zotford are just the ones to hook you up. Right now, during their fall push, pull, or drag trade-in event, you will get a minimum of $2,000 for any car, truck, or SUV that you can get to I-75 and exit 98. They don't care how many miles, how many tires, or even if it smells like Big E's filthy feet. It's still worth $2,000 at Zotford and Holly. Surf their flamboyant deals and massive inventory at Zotford.com.
I mentioned to you guys yesterday, and we never got to it, the story of the Comedy Central roast
Yeah.
that they did on Trump.
Yep.
And what that was like. And it's kind of an interesting account that the Huffington Post interviewed a bunch of, the writers and staff and people that were on the show with him. And
How long ago was that? Like 01 or something?
No, 2011.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it was like 5 years ago. Anyway, the plan called for Trump to be driven on stage in a gilded golf cart flanked by beautiful chicks. And there he'd hand his coat to one woman before taking his seat on the roastie's throne, big throne for Donald Trump. But during rehearsal, Trump grabs one of the stage managers, like, "She's not hot enough to take my coat." So they get a hot chick to take his coat.
Oh, no.
Not hot enough.
Imagine being that chick. You get relegated. You're just like, we've changed our plans.
So she's now a stagehand.
Yeah, what
And
was
it's
the
like
problem?
Stuffed her in the back. Her tits weren't big enough. Who knows?
No, but for her, like, if she was like, what happened here?
Right.
Donald Trump said you weren't hot enough. Sorry. That old creepy old man.
It's a tough business, E. It's a tough business.
So anyway, so many people are initially, they say, intrigued by the idea of a roast, and then it starts to cook in the brain, and then they pass. The more that we learned about Donald Trump along the way, the more it became obvious Donald Trump is up for anything so long as you're talking about him. The genesis of the Trump roast was in 2004 when he was at the Friars Club roasting, where they do the roasting of celebrities, the famous Friars Club. And a New York Times story chronicling the event described Trump as smiling and laughing as he was mocked relentlessly for his bankruptcies, among other things. Now, the Friars Club isn't recorded. That doesn't air anywhere. It's just kind of a bunch of stuffed shirts in a room, smoking cigars and making fun of someone. During that roast, Jeff Ross suggested Trump participate in a televised one on Comedy Central, and then in late 2010, Trump committed to it. Seth MacFarlane, obviously Family Guy creator, was asked to serve as the MC, but the rest of the stage, they said, was really difficult to fill. The dais is probably the hardest to book in show business because everybody is initially up for it. Then they their friends talk them out of it, like, dude, you're going to get murdered up there.
Yeah.
Do you really want to go through it? It takes a brave soul to sit on that dais. The network reached out to an assortment of Trump's celebrity pals, Vince McMahon, Regis Philbin, Mike Tyson, all declined. The network asked Bret Michaels, who was a contestant on Celebrity Apprentice, to do it. We had to talk to Bret at least 10 times. He really wanted to do it for Donald, but he was too nervous about being roasted himself. So he ended up passing. They invited Tom Brady and Larry King. King actually agreed to join, so he was there. Tom Brady declined. Snoop Dogg and Marley Matlin rounded out the small block of Trump-friendly roasters. They were joined by Jeff Ross, obviously, Lisa Lampanelli, Gilbert Gottfried, young Anthony Jeselnik and Whitney Cummings, and then Mike the Situation
God.
Sorrentino.
The Sitch.
I totally remember that. Trump Tower made it known that 2 subjects were off limits. What do you think the 2 subjects that were off limits were for Donald Trump?
I don't know. You're putting me on the spot.
His bankruptcies and any suggestion that he was not as wealthy as he claimed to be. So those were off. We don't do any of these roasts with the idea that the roastee gets to approve the jokes, but they do get to cite a couple of things that they would say are just off limits. For example, William Shatner was roasted in
His dead wife.
2006. Of course, he said no jokes about
She's at the bottom of the pool.
my blue wife at the bottom of the pool.
Man, if that's the case, I wonder what Rob Lowe's things were, because I mean it was rape jokes left and right.
Yeah, you think you would have done that one? Yeah, the whole rape thing.
There's no way you can do a Rob Lowe one without addressing the.
I know.
That's
Yeah,
the
you just wouldn't be
elephant in the
able to do
room,
it,
like,
right.
Yeah, like he doesn't give a shit.
I just wonder what the things he,
Trump's executive Rhonda Graff was the primary, go-between for Trump, and they say she was great, but she made known that roasters should address Trump only as Mr. Trump.
God.
Yeah, that was the sort of mandate. You call him Mr. Trump. The redemptive moment of any roast is what's called the rebuttal, when the roastee gets to go up and then, after taking shit for an hour and a half, he gets to go up and roast a bunch of people. Trump was not a natural comedian, so it was up to the writers to give him ammunition. After the writers went through numerous drafts of Trump's rebuttal, they forwarded a version to him in March. He responded a week later with his first set of edits. So he'd just take his black Sharpie. And it was like he didn't understand what a punchline was.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I've done this thing a long time. Nobody blacks out punchlines. And said Jesse Joyce, one of the writers, scrapping punchlines represents a classic lack of an understanding of how a joke works. Trump's edits were
What a jackass.
Trump's edits were all over the place. He crossed out an entire riff on condoms. Thank you.
Prophylactic. A Jimmy.
A Jimmy. Okay. In the first draft, scribbling no. He wouldn't talk about that. He made a few attempts at cracking wise. He changed a joke meant to slam MacFarlane. So Seth MacFarlane, cartoonist,
Yeah.
So the joke was, the only way you'll ever draw a crowd is with a pencil. Trump's revision in his handwritten
boy,
notes
this is gonna be choice.
crossed out that joke, and Trump's joke was, the only crowd you'll attract is flies.
what?
Hilarious.
Got him. Zing. Zing.
I'm the best.
That's the best.
That's from a guy who can throw, the only crowd you'll attract is flies. And his boardroom erupts with laughter as they're
of
falling
course.
out of his chair,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, Mr. Trump. Oh, Mr. Trump.
Not when we're eating lunch, sir. Not when we're eating lunch. I had liquid coming out of my nose, sir. Please.
Mr. T. I guess they wouldn't call him Mr. T.
No, you can't do that. I pity the fool.
After a joke that cited climate change, Trump wrote in parentheses, which obviously doesn't exist. His notes. Elsewhere, Trump suggested a broadside against the entire dais. So he wanted to just point to the whole dais and say, they're all losers, and I like associating with loser because it makes me feel even better about myself. And that's what he misspelled losers.
Losers.
Even in a script designed to be self-effacing, Trump couldn't resist boosting himself. At the conclusion of the rebuttal, in an exaggerated riff about how he lives in a 25,000 square foot penthouse atop my solid gold space station, Trump ordered that the square footage be goosed to 50,000. He changed a line that read, "I'm sorry, I must go now and make $1 million somewhere else," to $1 billion.
Oh my God.
You're seeing the
Yeah,
pattern here
sure.
of what's important.
Incredible ego.
The biggest challenge, they said, was to get Trump to make fun of his hair. I had to explain to him why he needed to have some jokes about his own hair. I said, you have to own it. If you have a great hair joke, you'll be impervious to hair jokes. But Trump resisted. In the first draft, he crossed out a joke about needing to feed his squirrel like Bouffant. When the writers kept the joke in for the second draft, he crossed it out again, instead offered this about his hair. Look how great it looks.
Oh my God.
The writers eventually convinced Trump to own his hair by talking about his extreme wealth. The joke went, what's the difference between a wet raccoon and Donald Trump's wet hair? A wet raccoon doesn't have $2 billion. Trump eventually agreed to the joke, so long as the $2 billion was changed to $7 billion.
There you go.
And I guess Jeffrey Ross told Jimmy Kimmel at one point, settling the amount was like a business negotiation. Trump wanted $10 billion to be the number, and then they eventually haggled it down to $7 billion. James, one of the writers,
What
had
an asshole! What an asshole!
one of the other writers was desperately trying to attack his manhood too. They knew he'd be sensitive
Did
about.
they
his,
go to the hands?
No, they were talking about his dick. And he's like, I begged any writer to get on board. Let's write jokes about this guy having a small cock. I wanted to destroy this man and expose him as having a tiny penis because that will hurt him more than any jokes about his family or his orange skin. He couldn't convince anyone, so all the dick jokes stayed out. One thing that stuck out to me during rehearsal is he would always poll the people around him to see if they thought it was funny. He never really seemed to have a grasp on what was funny and why it was funny. He was always looking at others to validate whether or not, is this funny? Is this going well?
Has no sense of humor himself. That's interesting.
The problems of the room were heightened by the crowd. So they're talking about how they had to do it at this New York ballroom, and it just wasn't very conducive to typical comedy room.
Yeah.
And they said they were heightened by the crowd that Trump brought with him.
Oh, no,
He
yeah.
packed the room full of his kind of people. He was himself a difficult participant. It became very obvious during the first act of the show that Trump's reactions were not what you'd want from a roast. These roasts are best when you feel the roastee is having second thoughts, wincing, laughing despite themselves. During one break, someone had to go on stage to encourage Trump to lighten up. Jeffrey Ross even began his set with an impromptu line. This is exciting. Trump, are you having a good time? Then tell your face.
Just sitting there with a scowl, a toad-like head.
Trump has claimed Comedy Central paid him $1 million for that roast. Other people say it was more like $400,000. The year of the roast, Comedy Central gave that amount to the Donald J. Trump Foundation, which spent money on things like a $10,000 portrait of Trump. Good Lord. The amount of shit we knew, they say now, was just above the surface of the iceberg. It has since been that it's really come out what a diabolical bag of Dixie is. We hit him as hard as we could with what we knew at the time.
Yeah. Oh, he's so flawed.
God
Damn it.
Still gonna vote for him.
Yeah, me too.
As flawed as he may be,
Speaks to how flawed his opponent is.
yes, of all years, Hillary Clinton must be just scissoring her ass off with Huma. Just can't believe.
Huma Danger.
Yeah, exactly. Huma T-Dog. Yeah. Anyway, Billy Bush apparently has hired a PR firm, a crisis PR firm, to help him out. He's been, and apparently they're doing that thing where they dig in and find any asshole to come out and shit on you. And they're apparently he's been making lewd and offhand comments for years at work, according to a new report. TMZ spoke to sources connected to Access Hollywood who claim he would frequently speak about women on the job, saying things like, "Man, you look hot today." You know, you've always warned us about this, Jay.
You don't say that.
Boy, I should have been fired like so many times. I can't even tell you.
That's so inappropriate.
That's why I don't hire women, though. That's the best defense for that. Is like, I'm never going to tell E he looks hot today. So to protect the
And
women.
if you did, I would take it
and
very
myself.
well. I mean, if you ever want to say it, I'll take it very.
For the
you'll-
record, no woman has applied here, and we are an equal employer.
I'm kidding.
Employment.
Honestly, I've never groped a woman at work. I've never. Honestly, I'm not one to make. But I could see telling her, God, you look great today. I could see doing that. Is that okay? Am I
No.
allowed to do that? Seriously?
Yeah, just stop. Just work with her. Just go to work and do your
But
job.
she's got her titties like pushed up in a bra on display, and her can's all cute, and it's like, wow, you look great today.
No.
Man, I like to get in there and fucking Can't do any of that.
I think
So
that
he
last
would-
part specifically, you can't do.
He's also reportedly, as I mentioned, hired this crisis PR team to deal with the ongoing fallout and the release of the Trump tape last week. Page Six is reporting that he's possibly looking to sue the network after someone inside the organization leaked the tape that featured him, making those lewd comments with Trump. Trump actually offered to help him with the situation, but he declined that offer. So I don't know what kind of help he would give him. NBC has been sitting on the tapes in hopes of releasing it before the second debate. See, this is bullshit too. So NBC had launched an internal investigation about these tapes. NBC was sitting on the tapes.
Yeah,
They were-
coordinating us with
Yeah.
the campaign.
Yep, let's release it right before, and then Hurricane Matthew hit, and so it changed the news cycle.
Yeah.
And so they're like, we'll hang on to these tapes. We'll release them Monday after the debate. So they wanted these to land the day before the debate for the biggest impact on the election. Fucking assholes. Nice news media. How about you release it when you found it a year and a half ago?
If you're so offended by it, if the remarks are so offensive, you're like, this needs to get out. Holy hell.
Fuck you.
Right.
Oh, it's unbelievable. So someone inside NBC was so pissed about this that this wasn't going to drop before the debates that they leaked it to the Washington Post. And the Washington Post then put it out. So now they're desperately trying to find out who trumped their big story, their big get, and find out who this inside person is. Many executives at NBC.
Goddamn that hurricane, heaven forbid.
Right. Many inside the network have open disdain for Trump. The plan was changed, as I said, during Hurricane. But, God, what bullshit, dude. Shows you just how rigged the whole thing is. Yeah. Anyway, let's take a quick break. You know what? I'll wrap this story with E, and then we'll take a quick break. Jay got a very, very important phone call. However, he left his phone sitting here, so he's got to take that upstairs. So, yeah.
That's bullshit, dude. That's bullshit.
Yeah. At least one of Bush's coworkers did come to his defense. We were talking about Kit Hoover, the chick from MTV yesterday. And, I mean, she's obviously not with MTV now. I think she's with Access Hollywood. But she says, I don't even know where to begin with all this. I was home watching with my 14-year-old daughter. The tapes are inexcusable, but those tapes were a decade ago, and it's 7 minutes of someone's life. And all I can tell you is what I know, and the person that I sat next to the last 6 years, that person for me is totally different. He was always treated me with kindness, such respect. He treated me like an equal from day one, blah, 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 blah. The girl that was referred to as hot as shit by Billy Bush on the tape.
Yeah.
He was like, oh, man, look at the legs. That's hot as shit. That's a girl named Ariana Zucker from Days of Our Lives, some shit Days of Our Lives actress. She put out a statement, of course. I am a strong, independent, hardworking mother, businesswoman, and partner to a great man. I have grown to learn that the words of others cannot affect the value of my self-worth or define the content of my character. How we treat one another, whether behind closed doors, locker rooms, or face-to-face, should be done with kindness, dignity, and respect. In understanding the magnitude of this situation, I choose to stand tall with self-respect and use my voice to enrich, inspire, and elevate the best of who we are as people. So he called you hot as shit, and that's what you need to say back to him? Christ, people are out of their minds. You got to take it with... Take Jay's part of this with a grain of salt. I mean, this was his specialty in practicing law, so he's very, very much more sensitive to this type of story. He's just seen many people be, taken down to Chinatown over, stories like this. So that's why he gets as sensitive as he does about that kind of stuff. Actually, that's not why he walked off the set. He did not.
Oh, I thought he was just pissed about that.
Yeah, he's furious. No, he did not storm off the set. But why don't we take a quick timeout, and we'll come back and tell you a little bit about the guy that crashed the plane yesterday. We've got Cooper Harris, the final image of Lil Buddy at Chick-fil-A. Was presented in court yesterday.
Chick-fil-A is coming to Michigan, by the way.
I know. Is it today?
I think
They're going
so,
to Somerset.
yeah.
I love it. So anyway, we'll get into that and much more. Jay will be back on the set in a moment. I promise you. We'll do that and more next.
The Detroit Cast continues after this short break.
Hey there, it's Steve Gabarro, the general manager at Zott Ford and Holly. As you know, high volume equals low prices when it comes to buying and leasing trucks. That's why we have the lowest payments possible at Zott Ford at I-75 and exit 98. Right now, lease a new 16 Ford F-150 4x4 XLT for just $168 per month. Friends, this is not a watered-down pickup truck. This is a loaded four-door F-150 for just $168 a month. Get the details and browse our massive inventory at ZottFord.com.
Detroitcast continues now, bitches. Here's Mike and Jay.
All right, welcome back to the Detroitcast. Got a little while there. Sorry about that. If you're watching us live.
These things take time.
It made it appear, Jay, I got to be honest, when we went into break, like you got disgusted with a story and then stormed out of the studio.
No, not at all.
That's what the lay would think if they were just watching it. Go, okay, they were discussing sexual assault at the workplace of some sort. Jay took offense at something Mike said and stormed off the set.
No, I'm not feeling well, for the record.
Yeah.
Uh,
So,
just put it this way. My leg is asleep right now.
poor guy. Yeah, that was
I've been sitting so long, my leg is asleep.
Is everything okay?
Seems to be for the moment, yeah.
Yeah. We had a signal arranged
The brown flag.
before the show started. It was announced that there could be trouble ahead.
Yeah.
Could be choppy waters.
Last night was a challenge, so I knew
Yeah.
today may be as well, and it is.
So Jay had his little brown napkin. He waved it, and then he didn't even wait for me to go to break. He just exited. He just ran off the set. So
Yeah.
I'm glad you made it back, sir.
Thank you.
I'm
Thank
sorry. You're
Sorry
going
for-
through this.
Sorry to interrupt the show in that manner.
No, it's no big deal.
That will be transparent to the listeners, Jay, though. So
It would have been had we not just gone over that.
Yeah. Well, I feel bad for Sweets. It's her special day today. And
Well, don't feel too bad for her. She gave this to me.
did
She was complaining of this malady the other day.
Ah, poor little poops.
It feels like after I poop, I have to poop again. Uh-oh.
oh no.
Oh man.
Yeah.
We got a little stomach bug going around the Detroit cast household.
Yeah, maybe.
It happens. Well, hopefully you can make it another. Oh boy.
Another hour.
Yeah. This is gonna be a bit of a challenge. I apologize. At least you're going into the weekend.
Yep, I am.
That helps.
I'll be okay.
Things could be worse. You could be Cooper Harris.
Oof, little buddy.
Little buddy. Little buddy.
If I have to hear about this pig man one more time.
Hey, I'm telling you, the pig man is alive.
Is the Pigman trial going again?
Yeah, it's resumed.
Yeah, the
after-
hurricane kind of interrupted it, right?
Yeah, it interrupted, the release of the Trump tapes that NBC had been planning to sabotage the election, and it also interrupted the Pigman trial when they took a recess. But they're
I'm talking about a pig man. I walked into the wrong room, and there he was.
A pig man.
A pig man, half pig, half man.
they showed to the jury the final image of Cooper Harris, little buddy.
Yeah, from the surveillance tape at the Chick-fil-A. Is that the deal?
God, that sounds good. I could go for some Chick-fil-A
Well,
right
there's
now.
one open
seriously.
right now at
I
Somerset.
know. Doesn't that sound good? It probably doesn't sound
I
good to
have
you.
no idea what they have. So
With chicken
Chicken,
sandwiches,
okay.
chicken nuggets, but it's good stuff. It is.
it's yours. Think you'd learn by now.
Yeah. It's on Vibrate, and Beth knows I'm doing a show. I don't know why we're getting a call now. Whatever. Anyway, yeah, they showed him. He's holding his kid in his arms as he's in. It's just like one of those closed circuit
Yeah.
images from inside the restaurant as he's ordering food.
So this was introduced at trial with testimony from one of the workers, I guess, saying,
Couple
yeah,
of
he,
them,
he
yeah.
looked like he cared about his kid.
Yeah, Kyle Weston is who you're talking about, the assistant manager at the local Chick-fil-A there in Vinnings, Georgia. He verified the authenticity of the security camera video clips that showed Harris at the counter, and then Chris Redmond, the actual manager, the head dude in charge there, told him he recognized Harris as a regular. It's like, oh, yeah, son of a bitch. Just look at him. Pigman's in here every day. He remembered shaking his hand as he introduced his son to him.
Shaking his hand.
Dude, I mean, think about, have you ever gone into a restaurant, shook hands with the...
No. E?
I
You're
don't
more
believe
of
that I
a
have.
regular in these types of situations.
I mean, you could maybe get away with that if you went to some restaurant, sit down with the family, and you had some fantastic rapport with a waiter or waitress. But
that shaking hands.
I agreed, but at a fast food joint,
Weird.
I don't
He's
care
a
how
real
How often you got to be
regular.
going to the regular? How often are you a regular at the Chick-fil-A that you're giving handshakes to the manager?
Redmond, the manager, said, I was bringing ice to the front counter when I saw Harris. I asked, who's this little guy?
It's my little buddy Coop.
This is little buddy Coop. He said, well, hello there, Coop. Coop's like, whatever. Enough with the pleasantries. Give my dad his gross food. so we can get on with our day. And then the guy's like, I got to be honest, Harris seemed to love that child.
Yeah.
You're getting support from the staff at Chick-fil-A saying that
Turn your goddamn phone off,
it's
Mike.
off. But go
Throw
answer
it in
that
the
and see
corner.
what's going
Throw it
on.
in the
Tell them
corner.
we're in the middle of a fucking show, for Christ's sakes. Damn it.
What's the problem, Beth?
What's the problem, Beth?
Seriously. Anyway, yeah, then the Cobb police captain, James Farrell, told jurors he arrived on the scene and crawled close to Cooper. As he lay on the ground to examine the body, he noticed a distinct odor.
Ah, bacon?
Well, I think that's what the overall scent was.
He's at least a quarter pig.
Right.
We established that.
So a quarter of it smelled absolutely delicious.
Not even knowing the lineage of his mother, we know he's at least a quarter pig.
He described the scent not as bacony or
Delicious.
ham or delicious. He described it as a combination of sweat, diaper, and something that's deceased.
Everybody knows that roadkill smell, right?
Yeah.
Ah,
It was an odor I only associate with death. Mm-hmm. Doesn't sound good.
that old dead muskrat that you're trying to hustle by as you're walking to school, you know?
Yeah. I guess boring and
Boring.
boring and the defense are going back and forth. You know, they keep bringing up his sexting with these bitches.
Sure.
You know, it's underage girls and, you know, just piling on about how perverse and what a creep it is. I mean, even the Pigman's lawyers won't stop. Just like it's disgusting. He's a monster. He really is. But a monster doesn't necessarily
Doesn't make
mean
a murder. Do you think that the defense lawyer, every time he gets up, he goes, well, that was boring. What? It's true. That's
was.
Mr. Boring.
That's Boring's opinion on the thing of events.
Boring.
It'd be too hard not to. I'd have a hard time covering it as a news anchor. And Boring said this.
Sexual behavior isn't some kind of motive for murdering the person he loved more than anything in the world. What it is evidence of his filthy sex life. That's what his lawyer said. That's all it is, though. Boring said that instead of thinking about his son, he spent the day messaging underage bitches.
Yeah.
On that day, when his son was cooking, he was texting and sexting with a 16-year-old trying to get photos of her vagina area.
Gross.
Yeah. Oh, I can't wait for the conclusion of the Pigman trial. Maybe I'm going to watch some of that today.
There you go.
You know, a little bit of it. We mentioned that before the break. We were talking. We mentioned the plane that went down.
Yeah. What kind of? This is a smallish.
Yeah, it was a standard Piper PA-34A.
Okay.
Yep, we've all seen that.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
like a
basically,
Cessna little thing.
Yeah, training thing, dual control, so the dude can take control over it.
So the teacher has like a brake. He can be like,
Exactly.
yeah. If the guy's going too fast,
Slam on the brakes, lock him up in
Yeah.
flight. Yeah. But yeah, the I guess this instructor's fighting for his life now. Is in critical. He's got burns, but he was able to tell law enforcement this dude deliberately crashed this plane.
And what's the guy's name? The pilot, the deceased pilot.
Arian Pravala. Well, that's the pilot. The train. You mean the trainee
No,
one?
the trainee, the guy who downed this thing.
Ferris M. Friteka. He's a Turkish gentleman. And I notice when I'm reading these stories, they're really trying to angle it towards terrorism. They keep
They
pointing out.
are or they aren't?
They are.
Oh, who'd you pull this from? Fox
I was going
News?
to say, I'm shocked by that.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I don't know where I got this
Totally
one from,
shocked by that.
But they're
What,
but
can a Turkish guy learn how to fly, Mike?
he's a Jordanian national.
Oh.
I'm just seeing hints of it. They're quick to point out that we don't have any evidence of anything that he was. But yeah, that
I'm shocked that the media would be leaning that way.
the Jordanian national was killed in the crash, while Pravala was rushed to the hospital with serious burns. A couple people in a minivan were also hospitalized. But he was able to tell authorities that the student pilot deliberately downed the plane. It's going to be a lengthy investigation, and it's just starting out. But it seems weird. Like, he came here from Jordan and lived in Illinois and then went to wherever, to Connecticut for flight school. But it sounds like he didn't want to go to flight school. Like, his parents made him. And he's there with a couple other guys.
You will be a martyr.
And so he gets into a fight with the pilot while they're in flight, and then nosedives the thing. And I don't know.
And
What a
the
weird
instructor
story.
just put on the brakes.
I think he tried, but it was too late. And yeah, I don't know. It's weird.
That is a weird story, and it's weird that the guy survived long enough to tell this tale.
Yeah, exactly.
Usually
Probably
it'd just be a ball of flames, small plane, just a bunch of speculation.
No black box, no cameras. You know, we can all just. They'd be digging into the pilot to see what kind of nefarious shit he was up to. See if we can pin it on him.
Right.
Killed this poor Jordanian student.
Poor kid.
Yeah. Just wanted a chance at a better life in America.
Mike, it's that time of year again.
What do you got?
Check out the spooktacular savings at Zott Ford and Holly. For the month of October, you can lease a brand new 17 Ford Fusion SE for just $188 a month with only $188 due at signing. This haunting deal will be gone before you know it.
Wait, you mispronounced before.
Before you get it, Mike.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
So hurry down to I-75 and exit 98 to see our zombie-rific friends at Zott Ford and get your ghoulish new Fusion for just $188 on a 24-month lease. Check out their bone-chilling deals and frightful inventory at ZottFord.com. S-C-O-T-T.
Oof. That was scary.
That was.
God damn, I feel like I was back at Erebus.
I like how you're writing those things, though. Those reads. You're doing a good job.
Yeah, it's wordplay. It's my thing. It'll be over before you know it, so I got to take advantage.
In the meantime, it's zombie-rific, okay?
It is. So get the Zott Ford, yes. There's a terror suspect accused of plotting the 9/11 attacks.
You're kidding.
Poor guy. Yeah, he's set to undergo rectal surgery. That's it for a second.
Boy.
This week, finally, he's been waiting for his rectal surgery for about 10 years.
Oh, and what happened to his rectum?
Well, it's up for debate. Mustafa Al-Hawsawi Bob suffered a rectal prolapse. You're familiar with
happened out of the blue?
Yeah, he was just sitting there one day and had a blowout like a tire on a freeway. Apparently, the thing folded inside out and fell out of his butt.
I can relate. I feel like I almost had one upstairs about 20 minutes ago.
Actually, no, what they're saying is that he didn't want to eat his food. He's at Guantanamo. And so they were like, all right, well, let's just start shoving tubes up his ass and we'll feed him that way. And so a process his lawyer described as sodomy. Apparently, they weren't terribly gingerly. They didn't go in ginger. Yeah. It just kind of went and just popped things up there.
It wasn't a velvet touch.
He's still being held at Guantanamo, was force-fed in the nutrient enema process after he went on a hunger strike at a CIA black spot. Not the best place to go on a hunger strike. You know what I mean? Like, of all places to, like, I get it. You want to stand your ground and all that shit, but maybe you just pick up the fork.
Yeah.
Have your food that way.
Yeah, they're going to force it on you. You know it.
The defense attorney is a Navy Reserve officer. Walter Ruiz announced that this guy would be having surgery on Friday during his pretrial hearing. Hawsawi is being tried along with 4 other men accused of planning September 11th attacks in 2001. He stands accused of providing supplies, money, and clothing for the hijackers. They needed clothing? His lawyer said the suspect had suffered because he has to...
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Uh-oh.
What do we got?
Well,
Please.
reinsert parts of his anus back into his body every time he shits.
No man should have to do that.
Well, maybe this man should. I mean, look at that guy. I mean, what he's accused of. Just judging by the picture, I'm going to say guilty. Imagine that, though. Every time he's like, oh, it falls back
What's he
out.
just shove it back? Like,
Yeah, just reach down and kind of push it back in there.
Pop that son of a bitch back in. It causes him to bleed and excruciating pain. They described this treatment as sodomy, pure and simple. He was sodomized. He was captured in Pakistan. He faces the death penalty, by the way, if he's found guilty. He was detained for 3 years before going to Guantanamo at CIA black sites. Oh, that sounds badass, doesn't it?
I thought Guantanamo was supposed to close. When's that happening? Is this
I don't
like
know.
he's just getting his last surgery in before his
Obama's busy.
healthcare runs out kind of thing?
He's busy emptying the jails right now.
Yeah.
And helping Hillary, win the presidency. So as soon as he wraps that up, like day one before he says peace, I'm out.
Let all these assholes
none of you
out.
motherfuckers get any of my fries. Before he makes that announcement,
You ain't my bitch, nigga. Buy your own damn fries.
he's gonna just open the lock to Guantanamo and just let the rats scatter. The Senate Intelligence Committee's investigation into tortures at these black sites found that this dude was exposed to rectal exams that were conducted with excessive force. I mean, there was
it's not funny, but
no romance involved with these. It was purely
rectal exams.
No lube involved.
he was diagnosed. And this is a cheap shot too to throw this out into the press. I don't know why this is necessary. This is terribly embarrassing for Mr. Hawa.
Small penis or something, or
no, he was diagnosed with chronic hemorrhoids, some anal fissuring going on, and then the whole rectal prolapse, aka
That's really astounding.
falls out of his body. The surgery is expected to take place on Friday, but it's not clear whether a colorectal surgery specialist will conduct the operation. So they might just bring in a vet. Do your best,
Whoever
my
they
man.
got.
Yeah, whoever's on duty that day is like,
See if you can stitch that thing back in there.
yeah, don't try not to stitch the hole closed, but if you can, just get it to fit back in there nicely, that'd be great. He'd really appreciate that. So.
Ugh.
And then this story, I don't know. Well, I know exactly why, but this story fucking infuriated me. How you doing, buddy? You doing okay? Mm-hmm. We doing all right? Are we having a prolapse moment? A former 911 operator is facing criminal charges after admitting that she would hang up on callers when she didn't feel like chatting.
You cunt!
that's nice.
Here's the first tip-off that you maybe didn't hire the right person. I hate to say this. It sounds awful, but Crenshaw Williams.
Are you saying that? What are you saying, Mike?
Yeah.
I'm saying that's an odd name, and I wouldn't want to talk to a Crenshaw.
I have no problem with that name.
All right, good for you.
E? Where's he going with this?
I'm cool with it, I guess.
Well, Crenshonda.
I don't know what you wanted to say for that.
I just think you're kind of fucking your kid when you name your kid Crenshonda. That's all.
Yeah, it's
Is facing misdemeanor charge of interference with an emergency phone call. Managers at the Houston Emergency Center where Williams worked found that she was involved with thousands of short calls defined as lasting 20 seconds or less between October of 2015 and then March of this year. In one case, she was accused of hanging up on a caller who was reporting a robbery at a convenience store in which the owner was shot and killed.
Holy shit.
Engineer Howie Lee.
Fired!
He called 911 to report armed robbery in the progress. And
she's like, whatever, click.
he was buying lottery tickets when the gunman entered and tried to break down grassed insecure area behind counter. He ran from the store, heard gunshots, and he called 911. They just said, "This is 911. How can we help you?" And I was trying to finish my sentence, and we got disconnected. She's like, I can't even understand this Chinaman, and just slammed the phone down on him, apparently. He called again and got a different operator, but this time the police responded, and the owner was dead at the store. So there was another one. She was the operator. She allegedly terminated a call before a guard could give his full name. So police said that they questioned her about the incidents in June. She told them, yeah, man, I often hang up on calls that have not been connected because she didn't want to talk to anyone at that time.
She didn't want to talk
Get a
that
different job. Come on.
God, what's the matter with you?
Crenshaw.
To me,
Come on.
It's one thing, honestly, if you want to get like a telemarketing job and you're just a dick, or if you want to work at CVS and you're just, but you're
is public
911,
safety,
dude.
man.
People are.
Counting on you.
I hope they throw the book at her, too. That is such bullshit. You think about the moment when someone's calling 911. Like, it's just a panic. You're expecting that person to be the utmost professional on the other end of that line.
Yeah.
Like, that's at a bare minimum. You hope
At
for
least
some.
listen to you. And
Yes.
Like, send help.
How often
should you need it?
don't
How
have to
often
care.
do we hear them? Those
Yeah, you
nine-
don't have to be genuine in your care. We're just asking you
No,
to
but-
just connect me with a
little-
lifeline.
little
please.
bedside manner. Obviously, this is an emergency situation.
Oh, we
here.
hear all types of those where
Yes.
you play them. They're just like, get to the point.
Sir,
Yeah.
sir, I'm gonna need you to calm
I
down,
can't hear
sir.
you with all that screaming.
Yeah, I've been shot. And they're like, excuse me, I'm trying to.
Sir, I can't understand a word you're saying. You're just like, come on, man. This is obviously a panic situation. Help a brother out here. That's terrible. Because I agree with you, E, that, you want to go work the phones at a fucking telemarketing bank, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, we had fun fucking around with people. You worked with a neo-Nazi that was great.
Worked with a guy,
Tremendous employee.
a telemarketing guy who was excellent at his job. Oh, he was like, if you just closed your eyes and listened to this guy, it was like velvet. I mean,
True
it was
professional.
beautiful. It was, oh, Mrs. Jones, it's so delightful to speak with you this evening. Can I just tell you about the Michigan Association of Police and the good that we're doing for the children?
Have you heard about the ball we've got going on next week?
And then you look at this guy, and he's just like the scum of the earth, Nazi poem tattooed on his forehead. Holy shit. Like, Mrs. Jones, if you had any idea who you're speaking with right now.
Oh, God. It's terrible. Speaking of Crenshonda, nearly a fifth of parents regret, they're saying now, the trendy names that they give their kids.
What a shock.
Yeah. There's this
Yeah,
woman.
trendy names kind of kill me.
I know they do. What are the big ones now? The
I can't.
Braden, Jaden.
Oh, yeah.
Hayden.
Those aren't even trendy anymore. Those are just the names. You know,
Yeah.
you have if you coach a little league team right now, you're gonna have Brendans and Connors and Aidens and Jadens.
See, some of that stuff is different to me. I mean, it is what it is. Names go through.
They have cycles, you
right?
know?
I mean, but there's obviously ones that are
But then
way
there's
worse.
there's trendy shit like some guy tried to name his kid Nutella.
Yeah.
You know, shit like that. It's just off the wall. It's not even trendy. It's just
Yeah. Moonbeam.
yeah.
There's a woman whose kid is named Jediah because her shit boyfriend. This is total unplanned pregnancy. Her shit boyfriend is a huge fan of Star Wars, and he thought it sounded close to Jedi.
What an asshole.
Jediah, and she's like, "Yeah, I don't like that name." But her parents then were like, "Oh, they're very Christian.
Sounds
family.
biblical.
Sounds biblical. It sounds like Jedediah. I like this
no.
name." And so this mom's like, you know, of course their relationship goes to nowheresville in 2 months.
So the Jedi lover's long gone.
It's the bricks, and now she's talking about her kid gets lost in a park, and she's like, Jediah, and the moms are all looking at her like, you fucking weirdo. What's the matter with you? Name your kid Jediah. A new survey last month found that almost a fifth of parents end up regretting the shit names they give their kid. This guy, let's see, who was the other one? All the boys, he says, wants to fit. A year ago, he came home from his friend's house. I want a normal name, Mommy. You need to call me Steven. So even the kid's like, stop calling me Jediah. I felt horrible. I promised him I'd only ever call him Jed. I explained it would be too confusing to change it all together. That's the name on his birth certificate. We got to deal with it. They say in some countries, kids' names are restricted to legally save their embarrassment later in life. In Iceland, parents have to choose from a pre-approved list.
That's
or
hilarious.
seek special permission. Yeah, I didn't know
Wow.
that. Yeah. Last year, a French judge, as you mentioned, wisely stepped in and vetoed a couple's attempt to name their baby girl Nutella,
Yeah.
which is a chocolate spread, that's big in Europe, saying that it was contrary to the child's interest to have a name that can only lead to teasing or disparaging thoughts.
It's kind of big here, too, Mike. Are you claiming you don't know what Nutella is?
It's gotten big here in the last couple of years. And I don't think Nutella, like they've had an advertising push. I think I got Beth some in like a Christmas stocking last year, just a little one. But I don't know. I've never had it personally.
Yeah, I think it's no good. E?
I don't eat a lot of candy, honestly. What is it's
No, it's like a
chocolate,
chocolate
right?
spread.
Yeah,
right?
I wouldn't.
Yeah.
That's not,
Like a
I
peanut
know what
butter
it
kinda
is.
thing?
Yeah, I know what it is. No, I've never tried it.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever had it either.
It's nothing to name your kid after.
No. Here, of course, there's no such safety net, much to the chagrin of Lisa Reed, who regrets the confusing and embarrassing name in which she saddled her kid. She and her husband had been practicing Hindus
Well, here we go.
for 9 years. It seemed obvious to give him a Hindu name, so he chose Chaitanya.
Monkey God was taken?
It was. It's a beautiful meaning. It's a Sanskrit word meaning cosmic intelligence. Not everyone was convinced, especially Lisa's dad, 72-year-old Richard, who was like, fuck that shit. I ain't calling my grandson Chantaya. He was like, I refuse. I'm not doing that. I'll call him by his middle name, Harry, and he still does to this day. He's like,
That's
"No."
awesome.
Yeah, bullshit. I'm not calling him that. And then, of course, the couple decide to abandon their religion shortly afterwards in favor of a more secular life. Chanting for an hour at dawn wasn't compatible with being parents. Yet,
Wait a minute,
Couple
that's how.
assholes.
I mean, if you know what, if you like whatever, but like that's it. Chanting an hour before at breakfast or wasn't enough.
yeah, it sucked. It was a bummer. But tell that to Shaitanya, who was stuck with the name. He felt embarrassed by at school. He was called everything from Chitty-Anya, Shitty-Anya, Janya, and once he won an award, and the principal butchered his name so fucking badly, he didn't even know he'd won. Oh, what's the matter with these parents?
That would be my worst fear, honestly. Naming a kid would be
No,
so.
that's why you keep it standard. You just
Yeah,
life's hard enough.
yeah,
Don't try to make a statement with your kid's name. Just
yeah. Why?
But you are naming something though. It just, I don't know. It would still.
I know, but it just seems so irresponsible. Like if the kid wants to take some oddball name later in life, he can change his name and do that. But why would you? I just don't understand like how a parent can't see like
yeah.
saddling your kid with something that's way out there.
They're like
would-
this chick who's always on CNN. I think she's a Clinton surrogate, or maybe she's just a professor or some shit. Crystal Ball.
Oh, my
I think
God.
she's actually a professor at some university. Crystal Ball. Her parents looked at that and went, "Yeah, this will be hilarious."
Yeah.
Ha.
Well, they were torn between Harriet and Crystal, and Crystal won out.
Harriet Ball.
Yeah, Harry Balls, and it would have been bad too.
Yeah.
Either way, wouldn't have been good. Yeah,
Like, how can you think like something pithy like that? Like, really, are you gonna really have that little chuckle, funny moment for the rest of this person's Crystal? Oh God, that's so zany.
yeah.
She deserves to be named that.
Northwest.
Oh fuck!
I mean,
you're right.
it's
so
inexcusable. It's child abuse. Northwest. You really named your fucking kid after a shitty airline? Really? Is that what you did? What's the matter with you? Anyway, speaking of airlines, Millennium Falcon's.
an
It's not,
airline.
it's not an airline, but
I mean, it flies.
Well,
yes.
So one of the most iconic spaceships in the galaxy,
well, I would agree with that.
or at least a galaxy far, far away from ours.
A production company, a film production company owned by Disney, has been fined $2 million yesterday after Harrison Ford, aka Han Solo, was crushed by the hydraulic door during filming.
Yeah, I remember this. Force Awakens was put on hold because he
Yeah.
busted his leg to shit.
Didn't he crash his plane?
Yeah. Crashed
Not-
at a golf course, but that had nothing to do with injury.
No, I know, but it would just seem like something in the Force was trying to take him
Yeah.
out. You know what I mean? But yeah, he was knocked to the ground and pinned down by the heavy door while filming The Force Awakens. He could have been killed by the door on the set of the Millennium Falcon spaceship, which crushed him, they said, like a blunt-edged guillotine. Han Solo, when he was hit by the hydraulic door, which had been designed, it had been designed to mimic the one on the original set.
So it's
but-
coming down from above.
Yeah,
It's too bad he wasn't playing Indiana Jones because he would have
great
just
point. Yeah,
escaped that no problem. Pulled his hat,
hat
just
back
in
out.
time.
So you're just saying just a character change, a simple hat character change.
It would have saved him.
It came down millimeters from his face at a speed just like 1.6 seconds. It was just like shunk, slammed down
So
on
it
him.
could have been directly on the top of his head.
Yeah.
He's just 6 inches in front.
Yes. As he was passing underneath it, he was pinned by the pelvis to the ground. He suffered a broken tibia and fibula.
Wow.
And a dislocated ankle and a cut hand. Chewie's safety was also in danger.
Is that right?
Yeah, Chewie barely escaped it.
Peter Mayhew?
The health and safety executive said the power of the rapidly closing metal door frame meant that Ford was hit with the power comparable to the weight of a small car. Staff reacted quickly to engage an emergency stop button, but they were not quick enough to prevent it from coming down with enormous force. It was halted about 8 inches from the floor. Foodles Production, which is owned by Disney, was fined $2 million after admitting to 2 counts of breaching its health and safety duties.
Why did they need such a heavy door that could do so much damage?
I know,
Throw
it's
a
a prop.
styrofoam door
Who
in there, right?
cares?
Yeah, I don't know.
So,
They're going to use it later for real?
I mean, it is the Millennium Falcon, so.
Yeah. The judge, Francis Sheridan, said the film had failed to communicate its risk assessment to Ford. I don't know if you want to hear what his comments were.
You got this.
Come on, you can pull off a judge, right? No.
I don't want him to make a ruling and shit his pants in the same situation.
The greatest failing
I'm sorry, Jay.
of all on behalf of the company is lack of communication. A lack because if you have a risk assessment, you do not communicate it. What is the point of having one? This is the most serious breach here. If only they had included Mr. Solo in all the discussions, he might have at least been alert to the dangers that he had to avoid. Had the wrong button been pressed, it would have continued to crush down on Mr. Solo.
Mr. Solo, does he really say Mr.
He does. So Solo gets $2 million more on top of the 40 or
I don't
so
think
that he
so. I don't know.
They
I don't.
just got fined. It goes to some actors group or some shit.
I'm not sure how that works. It's weird. This company is set up to dissolve, like as a production company. It's not like something that sustains.
So they're
So
paying the state probably. There's
Maybe.
probably some
I
fine
think-
that gets paid to the state.
I think he was paid though for this injury. Do you remember the scene? By the way, it was Solo is helping his injured friend Chewie aboard the ship and then shuts the door behind him.
I don't remember that at all.
Why don't I remember that either?
I don't know.
Solo had gone through the door and hit a button. He starts to walk back through it, believing the set was not live. It was just a rehearsal at the time. And then it was remotely operated by another person. As he passed underneath it, he was hit and pinned down to the ground. J.J. Abrams and Solo screamed at the door.
Oh, lift the door! Lift the door!
Yeah, J.J. Abrams. He wasn't. Why couldn't he lift it up?
Yeah,
That
right.
nerd.
Saying he's a weak nerd.
Yes.
With a dick nose. His nose looks so much like a
Oh,
dick.
dude. Yeah. Yep. The actor was airlifted to John Radcliffe Hospital. The risk was serious. It was significant. It was dangerous. The force from the door was capable of being massive, capable of killing one or possibly two people. If we would have lost Solo and Chewie in that, I mean, think about all the rebels that have been trying to take him out for eons.
Well, they are rebels. The Imperial. The
I know,
Empire.
but I mean, just think about, what's his name? The fat one.
Jabba?
Jabba.
Yeah.
Was trying to take him down to Chinatown for years.
And they escape all that, and then a simple door takes them out.
His own door.
But
That's
wow.
like getting run over by your own car. Dude, what a crazy story that would be. Yeah. Anyway, crazy. They did release the new trailer too.
Yeah, Rogue One. It's one of these interim stories that Disney is taking advantage of.
Yeah.
So Disney, of course, buys the thing from Lucas and immediately starts thinking, "Look at that dick nose on Abrams."
Yeah.
So Disney, of course,
it's a nice cut head he's got there.
is going to run this thing into the ground. They're just going to squeeze as much money out of it as they can. So here we are with movies in between the main story movies. Mm-hmm. So this one is Rogue One, and it tells the story prior to the original Star Wars, A New Hope. So the 1977 film that showed Princess Leia captured with the plans.
Help me,
to the
Obi-Wan
Death-
Kenobi.
with the Death Star, Luke Skywalker at the end blowing up the Death Star. This takes place just before that.
Okay.
Pretty cool trailer.
Yeah. Looks good. I mean, you see
All new characters. So
Vader's there though, and you see the stormtroopers.
yeah,
Yeah. Be cool. So that comes out in, you said December?
December 15th.
Nice. You excited for it?
Sure, I'll go see that.
Yeah. Anyway, the Ken Bone. Do people still like Ken Bone?
You know, it's
been-
funny,
it's
man.
been 3 days.
I sense a large drop.
Dude, it's so hard these days,
Yeah.
man, for people. Like, you become one of these, fast pseudo celebrities. It comes and goes so fast.
Did he
now.
strike while the iron was hot? That's my question. Did he get enough out of this?
I don't know. He
I don't
did
know
some
that he
press.
parlayed this into what he needed to.
Well, he'll probably get one of those, those shitbag lawyers that represent like
By the way, did you see
Michael
this?
Lohan and
Sydney
Teen
Leathers.
Mom and Sydney Leathers.
Yeah.
He'll probably end up having one of those.
Look at fucking Bone. What does Bone do, by the way? What's his job? Do we
He
know?
works at. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, E.
Oh, wasn't it like a power plant essentially or something?
Yeah.
Or,
It's
Like
basically
Homer
Homer
Simpson.
Simpson.
which,
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at him.
Does he have a cat door in his door there?
Oh my God, he does. It's either a dog or a cat door. Look at the Bone man.
Wearing his own shirt.
Yep. Can't they get him one that fits?
Wow. Look at him tucking in that gut.
Yeah,
My
a
God.
34-year-old man.
Well, the Halloween costumes are coming. We knew this was coming. The sexy Ken Bone
Yeah, look at this.
is
huh?
out
The
now.
chick version of Ken Bone.
Yes. Yandy.com rolled out a costume modeled after the 34-year-old Ken Bone. Sexy Undecided Voter Ensemble has already sold out.
It's
kind of
really
a-
not that. To me, it's like.
I think it's stupid.
I agree. I think it's stupid as fuck. Look at.
What do you mean it's stupid?
I mean,
It's as
I don't-
stupid as dressing like him.
yeah, I
No,
agree.
no,
I agree
no,
with
it's
that.
not.
Oh,
Absolute-
yes, it
no,
is.
it is
No,
not.
Don't
you're
you
right.
rather see a hot chick dressed up in tight stuff than some
it's
dude
just-
as Ken Bone?
But it's just, he's just
Yeah.
wearing a
She doesn't look like Ken Bone though.
right.
Like if that just walked in the party, you wouldn't go, "Oh my God, you're sexy Ken Bone."
I think I would.
Would you?
Honestly, she's wearing a mustache, a Kitterman.
Well, why isn't she wearing khaki pants?
Yeah, they should be brown at least.
I don't know. I don't.
Because it's after Labor Day? I don't know.
Maybe.
She's wearing darker.
The company taking pre-orders on Tuesday said the costume sold out within 4 hours. It was clear before the debate had even ended who the real star of the night was. The Ken Bone phenom has only picked up speed since, and we knew right away that a sexy costume version would be in huge demand.
God, it was just snatched from that guy.
I know. It was his night.
It was his night. And then Bone just flies in, swoops in, and takes it away.
Of course, Twitter is quick to note that what a redundant costume because Ken Bone is already so sexy. The joke is on you because there can be no sexy Ken Bone qualification for a costume. That's just Ken Bone in general.
Just an excuse to show neck, man.
Finally, the sexy Ken Bone costume you've always wanted for 3 days.
Dude, does neck man look a little jealous of this? Does he look a little looking at Ken Bone?
Yeah,
like,
he's sort of like,
Sure
what the
he
fuck,
does.
Bone?
Yeah.
I thought I was the big funny
Yeah.
fat man. This was gonna be my moment.
Yeah, there should be only one fat undecided that's stuffed into a shirt.
Look at that triangle of characters right there. You got Bone, Neck Guy, and little wee guy in front of Neck Guy.
Yeah, we've got a wannabe Snowden,
Yeah.
and then I don't know what
God.
is going on there, but I desperately, for whatever
is-
reason, I
oh,
don't
sorry.
know why, but I really want to know what's written on his card. I want to know what's on Neckman's card. I want to know what his question was.
Jay, what would be wrong with him that his neck would be so red? Just the lights. I mean, but
Oh, I'm sure there's.
I mean, it's
not a
abnormally
doctor.
red, isn't it?
Not
though?
a doctor, but I've seen big fat guys like that where their cheeks get really red.
Yeah.
And then it's not just that they're hot; they're just everything just looks like it's
Under
steaming.
pressure.
Yeah, a little too much pressure on the skin.
Oh man, poor
Man,
guy.
You know how like chicks like they get out at the end of the night, they take off their shoes or like they're and they're like, oh my god, thank God.
Yeah.
Imagine when he takes
Unbuttons that top button.
As soon as he goes to do it, it's going to shoot across the room. He's going to fire that thing like a gun. Fire! He has to yell, "Fire in the hole!" every time he gets undressed, because he knows from his belt to his neck, he's going to be popping buttons. Take a head off.
No, I feel the Ken Bone craze is waning.
Yeah.
I feel it.
I do too. It was.
He really lost an opportunity. He could have
Did
parlayed
he?
this.
I mean,
Well, he goes on CNN. He tweets out a couple things. He should have a business right now. He should be selling something. He should be dancing. He should be doing something.
you want to put the Bone Man on what? Dancing with the Stars? You
Should be
sign him up for
selling a
next year?
home grill. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man.
Don't you feel like he should have profited from this?
Well, I don't know how though, unless he's selling
Well, I
those
don't either. I
t-shirts.
don't either. But you gotta think quickly. You gotta strike while the iron's hot.
Yeah, he needs proper representation. Although it would annoy me so fast if Ken Bone was all of a sudden everywhere. Like
Yeah,
that.
but he deserved to grab $1 million out of this thing.
You think so?
Yes,
You think
totally.
$1 million would have been reasonable.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it's only been what 5 days or something. When was that? Sunday night.
Sunday night. Yeah, I feel like he's going away.
Yeah,
We're losing Bone.
I'm glad you say it because I feel like the train is slowing down to a crawl at this point too. Poor guy. You want to talk about some titties before we get to email?
Sure.
You like titties? Everyone likes titties, right?
How can you not?
A lingerie firm previously identified the 7 types of titty.
7 types of titty.
Yeah, apparently there were 7 types of titty.
I'll be damned.
They've added a couple new ones. So to the mix, Third Love have included athletic and relaxed titties.
How do you just add a couple new titties?
I don't know. And they look like something you wouldn't have left out in the first place.
Yeah, this is an artist rendering. Just
Yeah, unfortunately. Sorry. It's the best I could do.
Oh,
Yeah,
this
they
is Mike's
look-
artist rendering of the.
No,
it,
no.
it actually looks like something Mike would draw. Honestly,
Yeah,
it's not the greatest artist rendering. Sorry, Mike.
yeah.
Yeah, these are titties.
Well, we'll help women. I mean, it's meant to help women choosing bras and stuff.
That's it, huh?
Brasiers, yeah. It's not for us to discuss.
Sexually.
So the athletic, if you have athletic titties, if you're wondering, this means they're wider and more muscular with less tissue. And a classic push-up bra is in your best interest. The relaxed,
Do they give sizes like you're an A or B, or can you have athletic Ds?
I don't know that you could have athletic Ds. I think those are pretty A-ish, B-ish
Yeah.
athletic. The relaxed, which nipples that point downwards is a sign that you have relaxed titties.
I'm gonna go on record as not liking the relaxed titty as much.
I always,
Any nipple that faces downward.
yeah, like shoots to the ground.
They should-
I always thought that was just known as tube sock filled with sand. Like that's what I always thought that was.
Banana boob.
Yes.
Or just quit. The boob is quit.
Yeah.
I mean, once you get to the point where it's going down, you're beyond the sexual nature, I would imagine.
Talking Nana, righty?
Yeah, possibly.
Is Nana a large busted woman?
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't know.
Definitely.
Does she go, come here, honey, and she pulls you
No,
close,
she does not do that.
and you get
Give her a
just
big
into her
hug.
bosom?
She does
Just
wear
buried in her
glasses.
bosom?
We discussed the other day whether she wears glasses.
She
or not.
does?
She does wear glasses.
Okay.
Nice. Are they thick?
They're not that thick, shockingly.
Really?
She might not need. Her
She
eyes
just
might
wear
be
them
as
for
good
the
as
aesthetic look?
possibly.
Yeah, she thinks it make her look cool.
Trying to be a hipster. Cut it out, Grandma.
If you've got
No,
those,
you know what would be normcore? If you grabbed your Nana's
Oh,
glasses.
I know. Maybe when she dies, I'll take those and turn my.
I'll
lenses
take those, thank you.
right out of the casket.
Won't be needing those.
Put my frames into them. That'd be pretty normcore.
If you've got those relaxed titties, they say a classic push-up bra is your best bet. That's your best friend.
Sounds like classic push-up applies to most titties so
I know
far.
so far it's for
right.
the first two.
Pretty effective.
Round titties. How do we feel about round titties, gentlemen?
I mean, round titties it sounds fine to me. Round-
if they're round
I have to
shaped,
look at images of what describes round. I guess.
if they're equally full on top and bottom, then you're lucky enough not to need much support. You can probably get away with a thin bra.
so just round titties, boom.
Bang. They're not hanging too much. They're not shooting down to the
round
ground.
titties seem to be a good situation.
You familiar with the east-west titties, gentlemen?
Oh God, they're like pointing out to the side.
Going east-west on you. If you have smaller titties that gravitate to the outside of the chest, then you're an east-west. Another sign is nips that point outwards and a gap between your
Oh
cleavage.
my gosh, didn't know all this could happen.
I didn't either.
Although Tori Spelling has an enormous gap. But
Yeah.
that's implant driven. That's all
Yeah.
weird.
A T-shirt bra will help to create a smooth silhouette and pull the titties in,
Okay.
give you that cleavage. So if you've got the east-west going,
T-shirt bra. Are you familiar?
no,
No
but we
idea.
don't. Yeah, I wasn't. Sorry. Side set titties. You familiar with side set titties?
Sounds like East-West, but no.
Side set titties are fuller than east-west.
Ah, a
Yeah.
nuance, but a distinction.
But still fall outwards. They just,
Just billow out.
yeah. And there's also a wide space betwixt the titties themselves. You may be particularly prone to your breasts spilling out the side because of their position if the cup is too small. So if you're wearing a bra with a side set, you might even spill out the sides.
Oh God.
So you need a bigger, fuller cup to really rein them in. Sounds like they're a mess. They're really trying to get away from you. You've got slender titties that are smaller at the top than they are at the bottom and are longer than they are wide.
See, is that the banana boob?
They're considered slender.
Slender.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even know, dude. All these you're describing to me. I mean, just show me a pair of titties that I like, and that's good enough, dude. I don't.
We're not judging. We're not
I
trying to
know
shame
it when I
anybody
see
here.
it.
Yeah, I know what I like when I see it.
No. We don't want to shame anybody. We don't want to put anybody on the spot. If it looks funny, we go over and say, mm-mm.
The bell shape. You familiar with the bell shape?
No.
If your titties are slimmer at the top, fuller at the bottom, I always thought that was the water balloon.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Then you're a bell shape. You don't need much support with the. You need a bra with plenty of support to try to lift these suckers up. There's also asymmetric, which is one lopsided one, and that's where you get into the padding and stuff, which is a
Yeah.
whole other ball game.
I had no idea
Added
these were so
expense.
snowflake-like.
Yeah.
I knew the vagine was like a flower, a snowflake, if you will. But the titties, I had no idea.
Yeah, I think the teardrop, which is the last one on their list, is that everyone's favorite? The
Teardrop.
classic teardrop. It's if your titties are rounded but slightly less full at the top, then you're lucky enough to be teardrop shaped. These kind of titties are easy to accommodate in any style bra. You can probably get away with anything from a balconette to a plunge.
Oh yeah.
So,
Sounds like either the round or the teardrop are the ideal titty.
yeah, in a perfect world. In a perfect world. Relaxed seems to be.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the word titty and relax, that's not a good situation.
Yeah.
Putting those two things together.
Yeah. Anyway, should we get to some email, Jay? I know you want to get out of here.
Yeah.
And, E's got a big weekend. More to come on that. He's going on an adventure. Big E on an adventure this weekend.
Hey, y'all know Mark Leibovitz at LPL Financial by now. He's offering our listeners a great special. If you're one of the next 10 listeners to make an appointment for a no-cost, no-obligation portfolio review, Mark will give you a $50 gift certificate to your favorite restaurant. If you've been thinking about calling Mark, now's the time to do it. Call 248-626-2000 and ask for Mark.
Securities and advisory services offered through LPL Financial, a registered investment advisor. Member FINRA SIPC.
Speaking of Mark writes in. Different Mark, but a Mark nonetheless. A Mark with a C. Hearing about the Sikh gent that got assaulted reminded me of a story my uncle told me. He used to work as a customer service adjuster in an insurance call center. He told me there were many times that they fielded calls from customers casually asking about conditions in which the policy pays out, mostly things like losing a toe or finger. This, of course, raised alarms within the insurance company, and they tried to investigate these people closely. So you're getting a call, just a little shot over the bow. So if I were to lose a finger,
Yeah, does this pay out?
desperate people would weigh their options, stage an accident, and lose an appendage. Pinky fingers were most common, as I remember it.
Because think about the pinkies, you probably judge it as the least needed, right?
Yeah.
You need to throw a football, though.
I think the people that are at this stage are
I'd
probably
rather
not
you-
too worried about their spiral.
Dude, I'd take a pinky toe off before I take my pinky off.
God, I don't know, man. We've talked about both. We've talked about how much we'd take. E, where are we at on this?
I don't remember.
Well, where
Pretty
are you
high,
today?
dude.
Today.
Pretty high
Pinky
still.
finger.
Dude, it's going to be
Below
in the
the first
thousands.
knuckle.
$50.
Let you keep
no,
a stump.
it's going to be in the thousands.
We'll let you keep a stump. We'll let you take what we
Keeping
cut
a stump
off and
is a-
make a necklace.
Yeah, that's
Making
fair.
It's not fair.
That is fair.
It's going to
It's
be in
better
the
than throwing it in
thousands.
the garbage
pain
disposal.
That would be, oh my God. Plus,
Fine, 3,000.
and
Just right here, E.
I'd have
Boom.
to ask, I wonder if
No,
this
no,
would
no.
be,
I want to take it down further
Well,
for
let's
$3,000.
see what he does.
Well, I want to wonder too. Like, I'd want the money. Plus, I'd want to pay for to sew this thing up. I got to go to the doctor. I don't got good insurance.
Let's
$3,000.
assume it's sewed up,
Okay.
cauterized, the whole
Okay.
ball of wax.
I don't know.
$3,000. You got a nice stump. You've got the tip that will make a little
Yeah.
amulet.
3 to 5
Amulet for you.
I don't know.
3 to
3 to
5.
5, yeah. That's sounds like
fair.
Yeah, definitely the going
Sounds
rate.
like a Kickstarter could be in order.
Well, remember that
Which is-
Kickstarter would have to extend past the 3 to 5 to pay for that. Sewing
How much
of
to
it.
take all 4 tips off your fingers?
That'd be a shit ton, dude.
You end up looking like Donald Trump. Little hands.
He's walking around like, yeah, can't even jacks off anymore. It stinks. Should have thought this through more. I really needed the extension. to
Yeah,
get-
you have no
get around
idea
my
what
dick.
those fingertips do, right? How
guess.
important those are.
You're right. I've never thought about it.
Emily writes in, Jay, after listening to the podcast daily, I'm noticing how much I hate white people. You're just noticing this now, Emily?
Yeah.
Well, at
Welcome
least
to
she's
the
coming at some point. So.
White people's crime sprees are quite possibly the most embarrassing and stupid of the crimes. Hot Carls, creepy clowns, porta potty cameras,
We're so
teenage girl baby dumping, jogger attacks / rapes, fraud, embezzlement, incest, or serial killers. They're all white people crimes.
Yep.
Oh, I hate white people. Anyone else notice this with the podcast stories? Winky face, Emily.
Yeah.
You mention it.
I'm willing to
usually.
look past the crimes. I'm more insulted by the Christmas photos and
Oh,
those
God.
types of things.
The Joe Biden family photos.
Oh, it's fall. This is the time for
Oh,
these
you're going to see
photos.
people out there, yeah.
Oh my lord!
Yep,
Yeah.
making
In the
their
lean
Christmas photos.
piles
Sure.
Yep.
Little kids in their matching sweaters. Oh, that's white people were awful.
Yeah.
So much going on in the world, and we're so worried about
Yeah.
this little-
Speaking of Biden, I saw him today giving interviews about Trump and how disgusting this is, blah, 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 his behavior.
Yeah.
All I can think is looking at him, I'm just like,
Yeah.
dude, I can promise you this motherfucker.
I personally know a woman who was
Yeah.
propositioned by him. So
Yeah. Propositioned like, wow, you look nice
no,
today?
like, come on, let's go fuck right now. When you gonna fuck me? I forget what the phrase was.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me in the least.
That was when he was traveling from Connecticut every day on the train with the people, with
Just
just the
doing
common
good.
Joes, working and doing the job in Washington, then heading back to his family, rolling his sleeves up.
Yeah, he was pulling a Matt Millen.
That's right.
Oh, God
Assholes.
damn it! How about you suck my cock? Oh, thanks, sir. Thanks.
But he's terrified.
Disgusting. He's never heard language like this.
I mean, I've been in plenty of locker rooms, and I have never heard such disgusting behavior. And he wants to be the leader of the free world? This is an outrage. Unacceptable behavior. Shut up, Joe Biden, you creep. You're a creep. You all are.
Yeah. You and your stupid white family.
Sorry about Bo, though. That was awful. It really was.
But it led to his
terrible.
run for president, so.
Yeah.
Don writes in, morning podcast masters, listening to episode 665, and you guys started talking about nut bowls. I think we were just referring to the fact that, like, back in the 80s, like, our moms would have nuts. I was
Like, where are you going? I don't.
that was
No,
weeks
yeah.
ago, man.
Yeah. Having peanuts or almonds in a dish on the
no,
counter.
my mom always had, like, crackable nuts.
Oh, walnuts?
So nuts and shells
Yeah.
that were sitting there, and you had a nutcracker next to it, and it was like, hey, guests, have a seat and crack some nuts. It was friggin' bizarre.
Yeah, I remember seeing dishes of pistachio nuts.
What would you do with the shells?
You had a separate bowl
Oh,
for
and,
them.
just
Yeah.
and with the guests, just put them there, and then it would be the house.
That is
Yeah.
such a white person thing to do.
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
Oh,
suburban white America.
That's what we were doing. We
a
had
nut dish.
We had like a mixed. Yeah, there were walnuts definitely in it.
Walnuts are gross, by the way.
What?
They're great in salads. They're great
No,
in
they're
salads, but
amazing.
individually, like crack a walnut,
Hell
not
yeah.
worth it.
Kinda
Not
dry.
worth it. They are. I don't
love
think they're very good.
Listening to episode 665, talking about nut bowls, my mother would always have a nut bowl out with a nutcracker. If we had company, there would also be an empty bowl for the shells. Reminds me of my grandfather saying to me, "You like those N-word toes, boy?" Apparently there was...
Oh yeah.
Disturbed me that anyone would eat a nut that reminds them of someone's toes. Besides the racist aspect, I just thought it's gross, and to this day I avoid that style of nut. What style of nut is that?
It's the big brown one that you can crack open. Yeah, I don't.
Not the wall.
It's not the wall. It's not the pea.
Those
I
big
can't
dark brown Brazil nuts.
Google it.
Brazil
Yes,
nuts.
yes. Which are delicious too, by the way.
Are they really?
Ha.
Never a fan of sugary cereals, even though I was a chubby kid, but I'd eat the shit out of shredded wheat and bran flakes to my classmates' dismay later on. A little gassy, I guess. Keep up the excellent work, even gross Big E from Don. Thank you, Don. Now, this is a follow-up. Steve had written in concerning being a scorer for his local hockey team.
Oh, yeah,
Remember
for the
we're-
paper? He was going
Yeah.
to send the submission into the paper?
Yeah, and he did it,
yeah.
man. He got it in. Let me circle the area. Yeah, so he submits like 8 paragraphs. I mean, you talk about small town, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
he's the Harrow Community Senior or the Harrow Community Hockey
Lord.
Team or whatever, and he's describing all these games and shit.
Who's reading these?
Hey guys, as predicted, my scoring report went in as promised. Can you spot the reference? I look forward to more if you guys are interested in a weekly pestering, that is.
Hell
Love
yeah.
the show and all that shit. Ciao, bye, and make it a great day. So the resurging Oilers would net 2 goals late in the third, coming close, paren gross, and paren
What?
to within
he
a
went
goal.
with coming gross.
Yes.
And he
Wow.
just got into the paper.
Yeah. They'll publish anything Steve sends to them.
Wow.
Oh,
That's
Steve.
a ballsy move.
For the first one?
I thought he was going to throw in with an assist by Stan Berta or something. You know, slip a Berta reference in there.
No, he did
Hazel
he did
Abel
a
or
cum
something.
joke
He
in a
did it.
community newspaper.
He did a cum joke. Wow, that's ballsy, man. That's awesome. Oh, I love it. Yeah. More of them, please.
God, he came. The only problem is he came out with such a strong one to start. That's
Oh, I know.
So who ended up? Did the Oilers win 3-0 or the Senators win?
Yeah, I'm not sure. You have to read it.
I had my money was on the Oilers, so I hope. Yeah, it looks like the Oilers did win 3-0. So okay.
Rosie. But
Hey, gotta thank Adam for the beer. Thanks, dude. He keeps sending me like a mixture of different craft beers and stuff. And
Nice.
E is nice enough to go pick it up.
And
for
he's
him.
the reason I got to go to that concert a week or so ago, too, by the way.
At Freedom
when I
Hill?
talked about going to that concert, that was the reason I got to go.
Yeah, thanks, Adam. Appreciate
I
it.
stole one of those 12 packs out of your car, by the way.
Yeah.
The chick kind.
The chick beer?
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I've never had it
It's like
before.
strawberry margarita or some
Strawberry
shit.
Rita.
Yeah, by
Budweiser.
Bud Light. I don't know.
Yeah, that's not like Adam. Usually he gives like really kind of more crafty
Weird
stuff.
beers.
Yeah, so
Dark and IPAs. And
yeah, but thanks to Adam, thanks to Brian as well for the pipe tobacco. You and I enjoyed a little pipery the other day.
did 2 days ago.
And then also Pizza Nipple John, who provided us with some more wacky tobacco.
Oh, yeah.
We'll see how that goes. Some Rice Krispie treats, if you
I haven't tried it yet, but
We'll see if we can
I
feed some
want
to
to know
our
what
friend.
did he say what it does? Like, I know there's different things that those will do to you. Like what?
Gets you high.
No, I know, but some of them make you laugh. Some of them make you take a nap. Some of them
He did
make you feel good. Like I just want to know what
He just said,
like, what did
feed
he
this
give
to
us?
E.
Oh,
And I
well,
said,
that-
okay.
Well, that makes it sound like it'll like kill him or something.
Might
like
be
if Jay
poison.
and I wanted to sample it, what's it going to do to us? And we need more of it.
All right, we'll save the rest for Monday, Mike.
All right, I'm looking forward to Monday. Hopefully, if things go as planned.
Yeah, we'll have some interesting news to report.
Yes, and I'm sure if things go as planned, some of you will learn about it over the weekend. He's going on an adventure. All right, buddy. Jay, I hope you feel better.
Thank you.
Happy
Thank
birthday
you.
to the sweets.
Yeah.
Look at that poop, Swift a birthday. Have a good weekend, everybody. Thank you for hanging with us. We'll do it again next week. We'll see you then.
You've been listening to the Detroit Cast with your hosts, Mike and Jay. From all of us at Radio for One Studios, thank you for listening. And as always, thank you, Detroit.
Oh!